Well, thank you, Jess, and thank you. Good morning, everybody. Lovely to be here with you today. My name is Michelle Zellner. I have a business called Better Beings, and that's been my mission for 25 years to help people be better human beings physically, mentally, and emotionally. I get to partner with Minds and Associates to deliver really great content. So, hopefully, today, through our discussion of growth through gratitude, we'll have some good conversation in the chat box. I definitely encourage people to participate. We're going to spend some time at the end going through a guided meditation as well. And before we get started, I'd like to get a little gauge of my audience. So if you want to share in the chat box, keep it private or send it to everybody, just a scale of 1 to 10, where you would rank yourself in terms of practicing gratitude in your life. 1 is, I don't even know what it means to be grateful. 10 is, I'm the Olympic gold medal champion of gratitude and living a grateful life. Share a little bit with me so I can have a gauge of my audience. And I'm going to go through just why gratitude, what it even means, and why it is helpful, and how it actually does help you grow into a healthier, happier human, which hopefully then leads you to a more fulfilling, satisfied life as well. Thank you all for sharing. Looks like we have everything from a 5 to a 9. Fantastic. That means I have a whole bunch of normal people who have joined me, because that's, I mean, that really is what we're here to do, is to help understand how our human brains operate. And when I think of my own journey towards being a more grateful human, it is a journey, it's a process. It's not something we just are born being grateful, because that helped nothing in terms of our survival. So, before we dive into why be grateful and how to put it into practice, let's talk about what it is. So, when you hear the word gratitude, or what it means to be grateful, or if you say that you practice gratitude, live a grateful life, what does that actually mean to you? I think gratitude can mean a lot of different things, and certainly we can practice and express it in different ways. Um, it is something that you have to be intentional about. And it's something that even people who maybe are at that 8 or 9 in their gratitude practice, I'm guessing maybe, I don't know, a year, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you were not at that level of gratitude. And maybe you can share a little more with me about that if you've been on a journey as well, and what the catalyst for going on that journey was. Full transparency, little history on me. Uh, I was a gymnast growing up, so that shaped a lot in me. And I kind of turned into a mopey dopey, woe is me, it's not fair. Everyone else is better than I am. I work so hard and I never win. Uh, and even in school, right? Nobody likes me. Everybody likes my friend Jenny better. So and so has nicer clothes. It's not fair. Always focusing on the negative, right? My sister is smarter than I am. The teachers like her better. Everything was just really in that lens of it's not fair. And then going through adulthood and going through experiences that were not great, again, kind of getting drawn into the negativity of it all, right? Dwelling on the negativity, focusing on the negativity, sitting in the negativity. So when I think of gratitude, obviously being grateful, being thankful, but I really believe it's active practice of choosing to find the positive. So why is this important? Why does this matter? Negativity is everywhere. We all know this. And negativity is actually rooted in our survival mechanism. It behooved you to make a very quick judgment and to assume the worst. So, for example, let's say I was walking through the forest and I hear a noise in the bush, and I assume that's a tiger and I run. And it was a tiger. And I ran fast enough and far enough and I didn't get eaten. So me assuming the worst and making a very quick judgment saved my life. Now, let's say it wasn't a tiger. Let's say it was some birds building a nest. That's okay. I ran. I'm still alive. It doesn't matter. Now, let's say I was this very grateful, positive, mindful person, and I sat there and pondered, what is this noise in the bush? Oh, I wonder if it's some birds building a nest, or maybe it's the wind. And I was wrong. Maybe it was a tiger. Well, then I was dinner. Now, if I was right, it's birds building a nest or it's the wind again. Okay, great. But in the one example, me being wrong when I was negative, it didn't matter. I'm still alive. Me being wrong because I chose to be positive, I was dinner. So negativity is rooted in our survival mechanism. It's rooted in our fight or flight response. It is what helped save you from really bad things, hanging on to horrible experiences, right? I'm going to stew and dwell and hang on to guilt and shame and fear and anger and all these things, because that prevents me from putting myself in that situation again to have maybe that same outcome. So even the things that we might focus on in the past, right? We hang on to the anger, guilt, frustration, worry, fear, the things of the future, what woulda, coulda, what if, all of these things are all rooted in our survival, which is why we have to be intentional and deliberate when we choose to find positive. Why all of this matters is because anytime you have an emotion or a reaction that is tied to fight or flight, you are in fight or flight. Just very briefly to give an overview of fight or flight, your survival mechanism, your brain or body perceives that you are in danger, it's going to help you survive. It doesn't matter if it is a real threat or one that is a perception, because your brain doesn't know the difference. So the message goes to the adrenal glands, releases adrenaline and cortisol to help you fight or flee whatever it is that's causing potential harm to you. And that release of cortisol sets off a whole cascade of hormonal imbalance, chemical chaos, which is great when there's a real threat, right? You have to think, feel, and act differently when you are under a threatening situation than when you don't have to try to fight or flee from a threatening situation. And your body chemistry helps you think, feel, and act differently. All of that is great when there's a true reason to fight or flee. It is not only not great, but it's actually harmful when there is no reason to fight or flee. So, how can we grow through gratitude? Well, anytime you fight or flight, you are going to be a healthier, happier human. Now, if fight or flight is necessary, it will be there, right? We're programmed for it. And unless and until you've gone through that really hard work of overriding your natural ingrained response, you might be in fight or flight multiple times a day and you don't even know it. I also think it's important to acknowledge our emotions. I don't ever want anyone to pretend they're fine when they're not, to pretend they're not angry when they are, because your human knows when you're lying. And if you don't own your emotions, they will probably own you later at some point. So I want everyone to become very emotionally intelligent, to be able to identify the emotion or the feeling, to process through it, and then to determine, is this necessary? Is it helpful? And if it's not necessary or helpful, then we teach ourselves to shift a different direction. And why practicing gratitude, choosing to find the positive, is very important for our own health and happiness and our physical, mental, and emotional well being, is because anytime we can steer out of fight or flight when it's not necessary, it will literally put you in a completely different state of mind, as well as a different state of physical being as well. Now, all that is very easy in theory, but it's incredibly difficult in practice, which is why we have to practice it, right? We have to be relatively deliberate about it. So, how do we go about doing that? And I'm curious for those of you, I mean, everybody is doing a little bit of it because we're between a 5 and a 9. So, maybe share specifically some ways that you practice gratitude. Um, Keeping in mind that it's easy to be grateful when things are great, it's necessary to be grateful when things are not great. And negativity is so powerful because it is rooted in our survival that it takes many, many, many positive experiences to just get us back to even. For every one negative, we need 3 or 4 positive to just bring us back to balance. Negativity is powerful. It's why we go there first, because it is programmed into us, which means we have to be stronger than that programming to steer us out of it. So when you go through yucky stuff, that choice to seek positive, even in the moments when it's really, really hard, there's probably something there. Anytime you can do that, you are helping to carve a new neurological pathway so that eventually that becomes the habit versus the one that's literally ingrained in us. So, thinking through times in your life, maybe when things have not been so great, have you put a specific practice in place? I think this is a really great example of how to practice gratitude in the moment. So I don't know what you think of when you see this photo here. I know I've been in that situation where it looks like it's been pulled over by a police officer and something's going on. Now, I know when that's happened to me, I was irritated and frustrated and annoyed, mad at myself, probably mad at that person because, they could have pulled over 7 other people. Why'd you pick me? And it was just all negative and all of those emotions, totally normal. If this had happened to me when I'd already shifted my mindset and choose to find positive in what appears to be not positive experiences, I might have taken that deep breath and said, you know what? There's a reason I'm supposed to be stopped right now. Perhaps it's saving me from something up the road. Perhaps this is a really great lesson that I need to learn right now, because maybe tomorrow I would have been doing the same thing and it could have led to something really awful. Choosing to find positive in the moment, even when it doesn't appear that this is a positive experience. So, a way to practice gratitude in the moment is when we're having that negative experience, and I want you to still have those normal emotions, but then how quickly can we shift and maybe choose to find something positive in it? That's going to be a really easy way to start developing this habit, because if you're like most people living in modern world, there's a negative experience going on probably around you at this very moment, right? When things aren't what you asked for, what you wanted, or what you agree with. And all of that, again, is very normal. How else can we practice it? I think we can acknowledge it out loud. Acknowledge it out loud to people that you appreciate, that you are thankful for, that did something nice to you. Acknowledge out loud to yourself. Acknowledging out loud versus keeping things up in our heads is also a way to just kind of strengthen and make it real, right? We bring things to life when we get it out of our head and into the universe. I caught myself doing this many, many, many times where I'd say something really nice about somebody in my head. And I thought, well, that's not super helpful for that person. And so I just started to be more intentional about saying things out loud, even at the very small things, right? That's the thing, is a lot of times we dismiss the small things because they're small. No, let's take those small things and make sure we acknowledge those, because that again is going to not only change you, but probably have an impact on that person as well. Another relatively common, I think, gratitude practice is to, again, get it out of your head, but actually onto paper. So, a gratitude journal, start your day with thinking about how grateful you are for whatever, end your day with gratitude, say it out loud, write it down, put things on sticky notes, put it in a can. That way, when you're not feeling super grateful, you pull it out, you can read it. Or you're going through that hard time and you write your gratitude journal. And maybe you go through another hard time and you just get to go back to it to remind yourself all the positive that really is there. So much of it is about perspective and perception. And when I was teaching a class like this years ago in person, it was the perfect example happening and unfolding in real life. So I was in person. It was a lunch and learn. It was for a group with the city of Denver, and we were talking about choosing to find positive. And in the middle of this conversation, one of the gentlemen in the classes let out this, oh my gosh, oh, and he starts going on and on and on about what an idiot he is and how his wife is going to kill him. And oh my gosh, I do this all the time. And everyone's like, what's going on? Well, he was eating a sandwich and the sandwich squirted out mayonnaise onto his brand new shirt. So he's going on and on about all this, right? And I said, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. So let's find all the good things that are happening right now. All the good things. There's nothing good about dropping mayonnaise on my brand new shirt. Oh, I can tell you 5 good things. Number 1, you're at a lunch and learn hosted by your employer. So that means you have a job. Now, this was a time when there was a lot of unemployment. So you have a job. Let's be grateful. You're at a lunch. Your employer hosts a lunch and learn. How nice is that? You're eating lunch. There's probably millions of people at this very moment who wish they were eating lunch. I believe you said it's a brand new shirt. Wow. You have the ability to buy a brand new shirt. I think I heard you say you have a wife. I'm going to just assume that you like her and she likes you. That's kind of nice. And you know what? We live in a city that has dry cleaners everywhere. So you can probably go get that shirt cleaned if you'd like. Or if it's really that bad, my guess is you might even be able to buy another new shirt. Look at all these amazing things that you have. Mayonnaise is not the end of the world. Mayonnaise on your shirt is nothing to get all worked up about. So how often do we get worked up about things that really don't matter? Very often. Can we choose to find the positive in those situations? We can, but it is a deliberate choice. And the more you practice it, the easier it becomes, so that, oh, next time I drop mayonnaise, oh well, right? It's not a big deal. We don't get into all of that fight or flight experience, because when you go into fight or flight, you alter how you think, how you feel, and how you act. And that is really great when there is something to fight or flee. It's not only not great, but it's probably harmful when there is nothing to fight or flee. So you find those times in your life. Sometimes it's in the moment, sometimes it's a particular practice that we're going to do to help us through a really hard time. The more you do it in real time, the more normal it becomes for you, the more readily shifted that mindset becomes, the easier it is for you to transition out of the negative and into that moment of gratitude. So we're going to do that right now, give you the opportunity to put it into practice. I'm just going to guide you through a script. I'm going to take myself off video just so that there are minimal distractions. And take a moment to just get a little bit comfortable to the best of your ability. So find a comfortable seated position, not slouching, but not too rigid either. And just begin to focus on your breathing, gradually allowing each breath to become slower and deeper. And if you haven't already, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a few nice deep breaths. And visualize yourself sitting in a meadow on a soft blanket, surrounded by nature. With each inhale, you fill your rib cage with the fresh aromatic scent around you. And with each exhale, you let go of any negativity that's coming to mind. With each inhale, you simply fill yourself with gratitude for all that you have. And with each exhale, you release the energy that may be limiting your experience on this earth. As you continue with this rhythmic breathing, begin to draw your attention to your muscles, tuning into any that are holding on to tension. With each exhale, deliberately release the muscle tension. Visualize that energy departing your muscles, moving through your skin, and exiting your body. Continue this practice for each and every muscle you detect tension. And if you should find your mind wandering back to the events of the day or the worries of tomorrow, on the very next breath, just redirect that attention back to your breath and body. Negativity, fear, worry, anger, frustration, anxiety, while totally normal, are generally holding us back from living our healthiest, happiest lives, often burning our precious energy for little or no benefit. Use your breath as a way to connect your physical being with your emotional state, taking this opportunity to reset the mind and the body. As you enjoy the scenery in your beautiful meadow, you deliberately fill your lungs with fresh, crisp air. A slight breeze brings a chill, and you are grateful for the warmth of the sun. Basking in this beauty, you are delighted to hear the sounds of nature fill your ears. With each breath, you tune into these sensations a little more. And even though that mosquito is buzzing in your ear, you have a tremendous sense of gratitude. When your mind wanders, and it most likely will, acknowledge the thought or emotion, and then kindly coax your awareness back to the breath, the beauty, and the sounds of nature. How grateful you are to have the opportunity to enjoy the serenity of this meadow. Fine, fine tune this moment a little more. What is going on in your meadow? Is it a flat prairie extending far beyond the horizon? Perhaps there are gently rolling hills with buildings dotting the landscape. Maybe tall grass and wildflowers surround you. Animals, birds, bees, grasshoppers. Are any of these in your meadow? Be there right now. Focus on what it looks like, what it feels like, what you feel like right there on that blanket. Whatever brings you peace and joy, you will see in your meadow. Notice what is around you and how it makes you feel. If you are generating any negative thoughts, feelings, or emotions, Acknowledge them with curiosity, not judgment. These thoughts, feelings, and emotions are part of the human experience. Can you reframe the situation looking through the lens of gratitude? If you've spent a little time sitting on this blanket, you decide to stretch out and lie down. With a big, full body stretch and a full, deep breath, you go deeper into a state of gratitude for this relaxing moment. I'm going to let you rest quietly for a bit, but before I do, just a few reminders. As your mind may drift, be patient, be kind, notice where it goes, and then bring it back to your restful, peaceful place on the blanket in the meadow. Return to your breath, tune into your muscles, release any. After some time, you decide to gaze up at the clouds drifting by. Imagine you can send messages to the clouds and they will drift exactly where they need to go. Do you have a message you'd like to send someone? Do it now. Whatever you need to say, it will travel as the clouds drift to the person who needs to hear it. Would you like to send a message to yourself? One to be waiting for you when you arrive back home. What does your message say? What do you need to hear today? See your message catch the breeze and nestle into a big fluffy cloud and watch it on its way to the destination. It is now time to head back. You've enjoyed these luxurious moments surrounded by peace and beauty. You're grateful for this time for yourself to relax, reflect, and remind yourself you deserve this break. You deserve this feeling of calm and peace. You're grateful for the chance to deliver a message to someone and look forward to the one that awaits you when you return home. In the next few breaths, begin to wiggle your fingers, maybe your toes. Shrug your shoulders and open your eyes. And with another big breath, I'll leave you with this. As you continue this day, should you find your mind drift back to thoughts, feelings, or emotions that are draining your energy or stifling your progress, take a few deep breaths and remind yourself of that message you sent off into the clouds. Reset, refocus, and move forward in health, happiness, and gratitude. All right, hopefully everybody is back awake, share if you have any thoughts and feelings on that, if you want to. We just have another minute here. I'm going to just wrap us up. I think this is a very appropriate final thought. When asked if my cup is half full or half empty, my only response is that I am thankful I have a cup. Practice of gratitude will take you far. It's not easy, and yet it is incredibly powerful. So, whenever you find yourself with an opportunity to express gratitude, practice it, just do it. It's not going to hurt you. I can guarantee you that. And no doubt, I fully believe it will probably help. So thank you everybody for joining. If you have anything you want to share, feel free to pop that in the chat box, or if you want to unmute, say something out loud. And Jesse, I'm going to pass it back to you to close us out.